All right. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Ego Podcast. I am your boy Jogan. This is one of my close personal friends. I've known him for a very long time. Actually, since about 6th grade. We used to play on opposite rival schools in elementary school. Actually, it wasn't really a rival because we used to beat them up bad for all the time. It was bad. It was bad. But yeah, so I've known him since I was a child, pretty much before we both started really getting into hip hop, and then I've pretty much watched him grow into a responsible, successful, just person outside of anything music related. He's one of the people that I actually am older than, that I actually look up to.
It's 8 days, bro.
Hey, 8 days is 8 days, man. He's just a great individual. He works hard, raised by two beautiful people. Got a big brother who's actually a really dope MC as well. My friend sitting here, his name is Megaton. I like to call him the $1 million marketing MC. Megaton.
Word. Peace, brother. Happy
Pleasure
to be
to meet
here
you,
with
sir.
you, man. Much love, my guy.
Handshake goes back to 7th, 8th grade.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
Old school.
One of the reasons why I wanted to bring him on as a guest is because, personally, I mean, he's dope. He inspires me, and I feel like he's an inspiration in general, just his lifestyle, how he moves around. So I wanted to bring him on here and, talk to him, ask him a couple of questions, and, that's pretty much it. He's just a dope person. So I'm talking to one of my dope friends.
Much appreciated, sir.
Thank you, sir. How long have you been rapping, doing music, before we get into your advertising and marketing? How long have you actually been rapping officially?
Well, rapping, as you said, my brother, you should know him as Primo Jab, super dope. Some people know him as The Bear. But he was rapping before me, and he started rapping when he was about, 13 or so that puts me at probably about 11.
Wow.
When I actually started rapping. But when we started actually recording, we used to record in the basement. We would record randomly. I was probably about 14, 15 years old.
Wow.
And we were making albums, back when you would stuff the tissue paper in the tape. And we had a JBL boombox, and we used to just plug in the back of that and get our recording on that way, super primitive back in the day. This was like the day of ADATs, and when you had to go to a real actual studio and record a reel, you had to one take it and not mess up.
Mm-hmm.
So really, that's where it started from. When I went to college, though, was when, we were real serious about it then. Me and a producer who some folks know right now also is my cousin, God Bless Beats.
Nice.
We had a group called Endangered Species, ES, and we made a really dope album. It got us all the way out to Amsterdam,
wow.
Almere, all these are in the Netherlands and Europe.
Okay.
And, we got to do some performance. We had some songs out there. Like 3 of them was in the top 10 of their little hip-hop chart at one point in time in Amsterdam, which was super fire. So we went out there. They flew us out, all expense paid.
Nice.
Put us up in a little, I guess you could call it like a condo-ish kind of setup. Definitely wasn't. It was somebody's crib, basically, but they let us stay there. And, that was the first experience I had of, really getting, the true artistry. So, yeah, man, I've been rapping for about, gotta be if it was a kid right now, he could drink and drink cars.
So, besides your brother, who would you say are some of your top influences musically?
Oh, man, see, there's a lot of those. I don't necessarily just think about hip-hop when I think about my music influences, right? So, as much as I say, Inspector Deck and Razzcast,
nice.
Corrupt,
nice.
MCs like that really motivated me too. Biz Markie Pickin' Boogers was the first rap song that I had memorized, which sounds silly as hell, but that was one of the first ones. I was a kid then. I was 7, 8 years old, but that really was one of them joints. But then I gotta look at people like Stevie Wonder and Prince.
Okay.
even
One of my favorites.
Hall and Oates.
Okay.
There's a bunch of dope music that I was really inspired by. Sissy Houston and Whitney Houston. I used to sing in Sissy Houston's choir at church at New Hope Baptist Church in New Jersey.
Oh wow.
And she taught me how to manage my voice in a certain way. As I got older, we smoked too many bees, kind of got too scratchy, so I might have lost some of those vocalization scales and whatnot. But yeah, man, like I had a lot of influences growing up, and I take music in wherever it comes. I think, even like weird new age 80s stuff like Devo, always Luther Vandross, people like that.
Okay.
Anita Baker,
Okay.
the music that I was hearing at the crib when my pops would put on stuff, Ohio Players.
Okay.
So, the Whispers, all of that.
See here. How long have you been doing the marketing? Now that you've been doing music for that long. How long have you actually been doing the marketing, advertising stuff that you've been doing?
Yeah, I started doing actual advertising from an agency side of things in 2005, actually. So 19 years now. It's going, it's 2024. I started in January of 2005 working at my first advertising agency. It was a small agency. We did a lot of experiential marketing, so a lot of that is event stuff, but also TV, radio, digital spots. And it taught me how to manage communicating audiences and getting messages out to a larger scale. But I was working with some big companies back then, too, like Sony Pictures, also McDonald's, a bunch, Western Union, and Midas from, the brakes and car company. I still get, to this day, y'all should have got on this promotion. I still get free brake pads for life. Midas gave you that at some point in time. They said, if you come here and get brake pads, you get them free for life. If y'all missed that promotion, sorry, shouty, because I get to go up there now and get them all day.
Nice. So,
can you take my car?
Hey, man, I might be able to sneak you in on something. We'll talk about that later.
All right. Bet.
So, with having a lucrative, like a real career, outside of anything music related, what keeps you wanting to still make music or put out music, or what motivates you to want to do that?
Yeah, it's the passion of the craft for me. Like I've always loved music and hip hop, but I love trying to do dope things. Even when I compare things to what I do on the advertising side, right? I always still compare it to making a dope song. I'm like, if you walk away from this, if somebody sees it, are you proud? And do they see that spot that you made? And they're like, oh, who made that commercial, man? That was fire. Or who made this ad? That was fire. Or who did this idea with this brand and who did this crossover? I look at that same thing. That's how I apply it to hip hop too. And sometimes I just like to go in and rap just to show people I'm nice. Like, cause I'm nice. And like, probably off the head, top 10, dead or alive.
Oh.
Off the dome.
Oh.
And I'll put that up against the Pepsi Challenge with anybody. You come holler at me. Only people I like to see in circles like that is MC Juice, Super Nat.
Okay.
A couple people who are like real dope. That's a good name too. Some of those people who are really out of there, but off the dome. Yeah, I'm one of the nicest MCs ever. And every now and then I gotta go back and prove I still got it.
Now, staying in that subject, do you have a top 5 favorite lyricists? Just for your person. We normally do top 6 because we just want to be a little different. So you got top 6 of your favorite MCs. You can break it down to however you want to do. Lyrical or conscious or.
Yeah, for sure. Like, if you're talking about lyrics, like, and lyricism, I think, is different than just being a rapper or an MC. We've had these conversations before.
All the time.
Like, I think, rappers, MCs, there's a different kind of style to how you do that. But if I'm talking about lyricists, like people who intricately pen these words in a magnificent way to craft the human dialect and make it do gymnastics type things, I gotta put Black Thought in there.
Okay.
That's one of them.
Okay.
I just mentioned 2 of the other ones earlier, Razcast and Inspector Deck.
Nice.
If we're talking about like the craft of lyricism, coming from Chicago.
No production, and then, no beats involved, no album.
You gonna say words.
Just bars.
Just you gonna say words and bars. And then I'm gonna give you one that's probably underrated for a lot of people, but to me is one of my favorites, is Twister.
Nice.
Like, I don't think Twista gets the credit he deserves, man.
Definitely
Like,
not.
if you listen, I know a whole bunch of fuckers that's prepared to hoop, leave a body bloody red to scoop, pop down flare for loot, shot the pussy up from head to boot just for talking dramatic when it was static. He was scared to shoot. Police prepared to swoop to catch a nigga on the one way with another stay for the white chalk. If you ain't out the tip, watch your lip because hoes talk. If you wasn't seen, then you might walk. Come on,
man.
Like you, and he said it so intricately over chopping over the beat and finding the hi hats in the right spots to ride that beat, man. He had pockets and he flips it. I know a lot of people look at him as just an MC who raps fast, but he got bars, Joe. So
I think Twista's issue was the fact that he stayed so Chicago related with his content of music that people couldn't relate to him outside of here.
I think, well, it depends. You know, like he was doing a lot. I think part of that also is who he had promoting him, because you know he was plugged with a lot of those South folks beforehand. So, like he was big out in like Texas and you know sort of towards the West Coast, but he came up
songs with everybody,
right? And he's well respected too. I mean, you know, but it wasn't until like he did Is That Your Chick with Jay-Z when he started getting a lot of the respect that he deserved
success
from the East Coast. Because back then we grew up in a time when it was super East Coast bias in hip hop, right? You remember that era where in Chicago, man, we had MCs, we had people, but we didn't have outlets to get it out. So the East Coast bias from the golden age of hip hop, probably like the 90s, other than the West Coast, you know, they gave some respect to Snoop and them, but even then, they ain't giving no love. Even Andre 3000 yelling at the Source Awards talking about the South got something to say, right? Everyone was sitting there trying to be like, New York, there's more rap in the world than just New York. G, y'all got to pay attention. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things, because Twista had, I mean, Adrenaline Rush to me is one of the most classic albums ever, man. And that doesn't get its ranking because it came out in the 90s at a point when people weren't really having that focus on the Midwest. The only people breaking through really was like Bone Thugs and Harmony and them.
All right, so staying on bars or people who can spit. The topic, the question's a little odd, or it's a little different, but it pertains to bars. What would you say? And you can give me 3 off the top of your head. Would be some of the most pause-worthy lines you've ever heard in the rap game. You know, since this pause thing is just taking a whole new life of its own, and you can't say nothing without saying pause. A lot of our favorite rappers have said a lot of things that sound like they
The whole second verse on F with Dre Day. that whole last verse. And no my name to you ain't to speak when you're okay, if it ain't the gap teeth that I got to deal with, gap teeth in your mouth, so my got to fit. Yo, chill, pause. DJ Quick on Safe and Sound when he was talking about MC8. And I'm not even gonna repeat what he said because that's mad egregious too. But I think, you know, part of that was like that West Coast jail gangster culture where they used to try to like bitch you out.
Yeah.
So that was part of how they would talk. But even then, man, that was nasty work, Joe.
Question. So pause means no homo in the more politically
pretty much.
correct way?
Pause is a PC version, a PC way of saying no homo. So
and New York dudes used to be like, I'll blow a nigga with, and I'm like, yo,
oh yeah,
time out. Like I don't care if blow was cut or shoot. Pause, man. And it's a bunch of them. I'm not gonna call y'all names. Y'all know who y'all are.
No,
when y'all used to say blow, I'll blow a nigga.
Call him.
No side.
Because the boy, one of everybody's favorite rappers of all time, Notorious Big, has a lot of lines.
Oh, Big definitely
he doing things.
You look so good. That's in the Pause Hall of Fame.
See, no, that's like number 1. That's number 1.
That's in the Pause Hall of Fame,
like,
for sure.
He was saying cannabis.
On second round knockout. Yeah. But you ain't got the skills to eat a nigga ass. Pause.
Oh, no.
Stop it.
Hey, but no. See, no. Now, low key, everybody heard I Love It When You Call Me Big Papa, and they don't catch the line. Biggie says in that song, now check it. He says, don't blow up my spot because we both got cock. Bang. Yeah. What does that mean?
Well, if you're going to talk about
Big, he said hot.
Nope. Let's do it again. He either's going to say, why blow up my spot because we both got caught, which doesn't make any sense.
I thought he said because we both got hot.
No, because we both got cock makes a lot more sense. Ha. Yeah.
I'm gonna check that one out.
Your man. That's y'all man.
That's y'all man.
Well, Biggie has a lot of those lines, Joe. Also, like, Biggie has probably, like, one of the craziest lines ever. I don't ever want to meet your man Gutter, Big. I heard what you said he does to kids. I heard what you say he does to kids and then throws them over a bridge.
That's what I said.
You out of control, G.
Horrible.
So, yeah, that's a lot of those. That's bad.
But jumping around, from a perspective of advertising and marketing, where would you rank what Cat Williams did in his Shay Shay interview in just an advertising or marketing perspective of how he made himself talked about by the whole world pretty much from an interview?
I don't know that's to me.
I mean, is it all press? Isn't all press?
That's promotion. That's more like public relations promotion.
Okay.
To me,
Okay.
that's not really advertising.
Okay.
But
I mean, he has a concert. He
has a
promoting.
concert, and so he's bringing attention to himself. But that's like public relations, like interviews, things like that are more so public relations and publicity.
Gotcha.
So that's that section. Like marketing is broken down differently. A lot of people talk about marketing like it's super easy to do. It's not. Marketing consists of public relations also,
Teach
and
us.
PR and promotions, and then it also consists of like advertising game, which is where you start to get into actual devices such as like TV, radio commercials, out of home billboards, things like that, right?
Okay.
So it's all in the realm of marketing. An advertiser is the person who's actually putting together those artifacts or putting together experiential events and designs and things of that nature, creative, copywriting, graphic design, those actual practices and disciplines are a part of advertising. Versus, marketing is the entire process of how you bring something to consumers, which is different if you look at the whole, right? So I say from a PR publicity standpoint, he knocked it out of the park because he's controversial, always said that, and he was hilarious as hell.
Okay.
So, when you get into real, like, that got to a group where I think the word of mouth alone allowed it to go viral and gain that traction that it really needed to drive that conversation. So that's the dope part that I see in it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not necessarily like a pure advertising kind of thing.
It's crazy because that's how I looked at it. But whenever somebody does something stupid or goes viral per se, I look at it like they're advertising or they're themselves or they're marketing themselves. So thank you for breaking that down.
Yeah, there are all aspects of marketing, but it's there are different levers that you pull, right? Like social media is a lever. Like you know how mad I get that people always say, "Oh yeah, I'm a great marketer and I'm a brand," and and don't know nothing about branding, and don't know what a brand foundation is, don't know what a brand framework is, don't know what brand essence is, what's your vision, what's your statement, what's your mission, what are your brand acts, what's your brand voice, don't understand why you got to use certain colors, why you got to use certain tones, why you got to use certain words, what a brand archetype is, and how that exists within a structure. And the archetypes come from Jungian archetypes, which come from psychology, that are pervasive across all cultures across the world, right? But then you break that down and then how it represents a brand, like, okay, cool. Are you an everyman brand, right? Or are you a jester brand? And I start to look at people like, what are funny brands that you could think of? Like, name a brand whose tone is always jovial and joking. That'll be one of your jester brands, right? Name a brand that is all about caring and giving back to people, and it's one of those caretaker, nurturer brands. Like, these are different archetypes, and there's an archetype wheel. There's a way that this works, and everything has a structure or a rubric. I need people to take that shit more seriously, man. You think people are making millions of dollars just because they can put some shit on YouTube, and just because they put some shit on Instagram? You're a genius marketer now?
Talk
Kiss my black ass.
Talk to him.
Stop disrespecting my profession. You're not good.
All right. So real quick, what is the best piece of advice someone has ever given you?
You can lie to everybody in the world. Don't lie to yourself.
Dope. That's hot. That t-shirt material. I like that.
As long as if you know who you are, and you keep it consistent with who you are, then you'll always know what to deal with from your situations. You'll be honest with yourself. You'll be transparent. You'll hold yourself accountable. And those things are important, man. You can tell people a million dreams, but the moment you start believing them dreams that you were selling to everybody else, you lost in fantasy land, Jack, and you ain't never gonna do nothing.
Okay, so real quick before we get out of here, where can people find your music if they want to, check out some of your music, hear some of your stuff?
Yeah, look me up, Megaton SP. Letter S, letter P, after Megaton, Megaton. It's on Spotify, it's on Tidal, all those streaming services, video on YouTube, all that good stuff. For my most recent project, Second Son, I'm in the lab working right now. And then, of course, you can look me up on Bandcamp under Megaton as well. A lot of my old independent stuff is on there, too. So I got stuff out there.
And following you on social media?
Holla at your boy. Follow me on social media, Mega Drew Skywalker. Like Luke Skywalker, but Drew.
Nice.
All one word with Mega at the beginning.
Nice. And I guess before we close this out, how'd you feel about the Super Bowl? I mean, it was a really good game, you know.
Wait, time out. Before we close this out, also, let me get one more thing on.
Whatever you want.
About advertising and marketing. Oh, we done?
Oh, good.
We could.
Time just went.
Yep, it's done.
I'm talking
Maybe
to you, man. You know, 20
go.
minutes, we go.
You go. That's why I was letting you.